Hey everyone, Brittany Harlow with Verified News Network, VNN for short. Thank you for tuning in to VNN Live. Sorry, I'm actually a lot later than I anticipated, 10 minutes late for this. See how long I can chat. I have really bad allergies, and so full disclosure about me, Brittany Harlow, the director, the lead journalist for VNN. We're based here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Um, I lived in this part of the country since 2009, so that's 13 years, and I've never gotten used to the allergies. Every year they get worse and worse, but here I am talking every week, and it's, me doing this is talking for like, 10, 30 minutes straight. It's not too bad. I feel like you guys are pretty understanding, but I used to anchor news shows for 30 minutes on live television. Not so many options for me to recover during a coughing fit on live TV. So thank you for being a kind and understanding audience. I want to give a shout out to everyone in our verified news community that is supporting our stories, working with us, sharing our stories, subscribing to our email news lists. Please be a part of the conversation. We literally exist to help our communities, supply them with verified news and information, in depth local stories they're not hearing anywhere else. And the best way that you can support us right now is just free and easy subscribing to our email news list. And that is at verifiednews.network. Just go to that site. You have a couple of different ways that you can sign up for it. And we just want you to be a part of the conversation, be a part of this news process. We're doing a lot of um, opportunities in the future for other ways that the communities that we're in can engage, and creating methods for dialogue between us and different facets of our communities is really important to us, kind of providing diverse narratives and creating space for empathy and compassion and understanding amongst people that perhaps have had a different life than you, have a different path than you, and that's honestly great. And I love hearing other people's stories, where they started, where they are now, and that is the kind of news that I love telling, me in particular. I like to also tell you guys during these lives what we covered this week. It's been a really busy week for me, and we'll kind of get into that when I talk about the whole topic of tonight. News entrepreneurship is hard. And this week, though, we had a story from Tulsa Police. We had a story from the city of Tulsa, Rachel in Grand Rapids, giving us an update to the Patrick Loyoya case up there, a man who was shot in the back of the head by police. And then, of course, we have a new clinic that is going to be, or it's not, it is a new clinic. It's not like brand new, but they're resuming some services that they had to cut off due to the pandemic. So that's great news back here in Oklahoma, where that area is needing a lot of help. There's a lot of poverty in that North Tulsa area. So this is a much needed medical care for people of lower income. Okay, so um, today was a long day. I've been working a lot, fighting allergies. I was late today because to this live stream because my son, I have a 5-year-old. I have a 3-year-old who's the size of a 5-year-old, but he's 3. He didn't want to go to bed. He also didn't want me to leave his room. So that is what I left to be here. He eventually let me go, obviously. Um, I'm a foster parent to two children. So I was helping one of them most of the day. The other one's sick. A lot of stuff to do around here. And so that is a big reason for a top reason why news entrepreneurship is hard. Because even if this was the only thing I did all day, being a news entrepreneur, it would be very difficult because entrepreneurship is hard and news is hard. Both of those are very mentally exhaustive and time consuming. Starting something from nothing, and also journalism is very hard when it's done right. When you are, doing investigations and doing lots of research, um, telling the full sides, applicable sides of a story, making sure that you're getting the story right, talking to people who are close to the story. And that's for every story you do. That is a lot of work. Story ideas take a lot. You know, for me, it's not like I just go into a story idea, right? And like, this is the story that I am telling no matter what. It's kind of like I go with the idea of this is the story I want to tell, but I'm not going to fight to tell that story. Stories change and evolve, and most of the time when I start writing a story, it turns into another story just because, it's just natural. Like, the stories tell themselves. Like, I'm not a writer that's controlling the narrative, choosing topics, and, letting the truth tell itself, however that happens. Um, so news is very demanding career, being a journalist. Being an entrepreneur, whew, you're like doing everything, right? You're not just developing the product, but you're developing like marketing, advertising, mm, product strategy, audience engagement, paying the bills, trying to get funding. Trying to get funding is like its own full-time job. Like, back when I first started VNN, for those of you who are new to the verified news community, I left television news to uh, start this independent digital network, doing news differently, doing news the way that I thought that it should be done, the way that no one else was doing it. We have a social news media network that allows for like a lot of collaboration. We don't nail ourselves to 8-hour turns, telling multiple stories in one day, because you're not doing the stories or the communities that you're serving justice by doing it that way. But I started at VNN coming up on 4 years. So in the beginning, I was like, man, I'm going to get all these grants. I'm going to try to get funding. I'm going to, and it took a long time before I got our first grant and then our second grant, new funding opportunities. But right now, we're just building off so much momentum that we're like getting, to the second round and the third round. All of these grants, the farther you get into the application process, the more in depth and the more time consuming these grants are. And they're for like, $2,500, $5,000, $20,000. But there's obviously no guarantees when you apply for a grant. So I'm sitting here applying to, 3, 4, 5 grants at the same time, spending days and weeks on these applications, on second round applications, and, building these projects that would align with our goals as a media company. And it's time consuming work. that again is its own full-time job. So I think I'm up to like 3 full-time jobs now as a news entrepreneur. And again, as I mentioned earlier, this is on top of living my regular life. And people, we have so much support, right? For news entrepreneurship. All these different orgs and, nonprofits and like community services and, you know, media groups that are helping like news entrepreneurs, like here's this class, here's this workshop, here's all this like these things that we're putting together, go to here, go to here, go to here. And it's like that is it's also it's a full-time job. Like how am I supposed to go to all these? And I mean, for a while there's not a lot of benefit in some of those added things, those classes, those workshops, those Zoom calls. But I've surrounded myself with really beneficial, supportive, different environments for news entrepreneurship. But it doesn't change the fact that it's all very time consuming. Like if I had clones of myself to sit and attend different classes, like how beneficial would that be? But I can't. Like as a news entrepreneur, I'm like barely able to divide my time between doing journalism and doing the entrepreneurship side. Like I don't have time. I'm like trying to pay the bills and fix problems. Like I don't have time to attend a lot of different classes. So, one group that I've recently aligned myself with is IndieGraph, and they have a indie growth program that is just so much what we needed. They are so helpful doing like, audience growth and product development and um, fundraising, campaign know-how. Like, I'm so glad that we got accepted into this program. Don't see that logo. It's green. It will blend into the background. I guess it doesn't matter. But other than Beta Blocks, which is the incubator and accelerator that we joined a couple years ago, IndieGraph has been the most helpful thing that we've ever done. Like top-notch help. It's amazing. And this is what we need. Like, and it's even time-consuming. Like, they have like they don't even have a huge ask. Probably like 2 hours a week of my time. But even that is a lot. But the biggest problem is getting to the point where our news sustains itself and obviously funds itself, because applying for grants, working fellowships, those take a big amount of time. But we couldn't do what we do without funding. I don't have some secret millionaire that's funding all these stories that I'm telling. Like if you're seeing in-depth coverage, most likely I'm telling these stories for free. And I'm paying to have this network right now because it's so needed. Because I don't want other news entrepreneurs to have to spend all the time to create all this stuff and build all this audience and have to attend all these classes and have to choose, between what could be a great opportunity and, be working under such time constraints while trying to just live their life, And that's a big reason why I still do the platform development and make this available to other independent journalists and news organizations. Because everything that I learn, everything that I get, I just want other people to benefit from it so that they won't have to take 4 years of their life like I did to build all of this. Because just 4 years, we're finally getting into a great place where a lot of great things are going to start happening. But how many people have the resources and the grit to do what I have done? And, I don't mean to toot my own horn by any means, but I got a lot of drive. I got a lot more drive than a lot of people. I got too much drive. I have to force myself to tone down my drive quite a bit. So there's not a lot. I feel like similar opportunities that I have right now for others to create what we're creating. And that's why I just want to give it to other people, because I just want to build up this community of news entrepreneurs and, be what the news industry needs to be for people, and take as many people with me that want to work hard and do the same thing that I'm doing. So, but I'm tired. And I'm hoping that I could take a break from the applications and the projects and even the news coverage has just exploded lately. I'm going to go ahead and fire up my Insta page. This is what our lives are going to look like for the next 4 weeks. I play soccer. Season's almost over. I got a soccer game coming up. But other than that, we'll be back in a week with some awesome updates. Spoiler alert, we have an awesome funding campaign that we've been working hard at. Indigraph has been working hard on it. They are rock stars, and I cannot wait to show you everything that we've cooked up together. This fundraising campaign is going to be the best campaign that we've ever had. Kicks off on May 4th. Huge Star Wars fan. Thanks to my husband, who is even more of a Star Wars fan. So gonna have to riff off that a little bit. We've actually been watching all the Star Wars movies in episode order, and we're on 5 now. So he says we won't be done in a week, and he's probably right. But then we're gonna do Metaverse Adventures week after and talk about April Wilkins. I will say, and I will commit to an April Wilkins story next month. I will commit to another Friedman story next month. And heck, I'll go ahead and even commit to a cemetery story next month, because that story that we did on the Union Agency cemetery has a lot of twists and turns, and it could even lead to a criminal investigation. And again, a story no one else is really reporting on, and that's okay, because we're here and we're telling those stories that no one else is telling. And we couldn't do it without you, Verified News community. Thank you for hanging in there, and know that I believe so much in this work that we're doing, and how much this can really fill news gaps, not just here in Oklahoma, but across the country. I'm so excited about what we've been building together, and I just can't thank you enough. And please keep an eye out this next week, the week after, for this huge campaign, because it's campaigns like this that guarantee more coverage. The more funding I get, the more time I can stop applying for grants and actually do these stories that matter so much. And we're actually applying for a new project over the summer that I can't wait to share. And I'll probably go ahead and share that with you next week too, with our VNC updates, Verified News community. That's it for me. I'm surprised I lasted this long without having a massive coughing fit. But I appreciate you guys hanging in there. And as always, let me know what you want to see, what you don't want to see. Visit us on socials. And of course, don't forget to check out our very own app, the VNN app, at app.verifiednews.network. I'll see you guys next week, God willing.